Hey, viewers, today I'm really happy to have my sister from another mother, Simone Johnson. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She's a graduate of Rutgers University. She has her own practice, and we are going to sit here and talk about, the abuse that I say abuse. She's going to have another opinion on it. But, I was telling Simone that I've just seen back to back these statements. So on Mad with Medicine, Quad Webb, one of the series regulars, she was having a debate with her boyfriend, her former boyfriend, King. And when King was making points and he was kind of winning, she stopped and she leaned back and she's like, well, you being really sassy.
Hmm.
I was watching, I love Pop the Balloon. Pop the Balloon, if you need an older host. But I was watching Pop the Balloon. And whenever the women insult a man and then he comes back with a great rebuttal, again, she's like, oh, you being sassy. I don't want you. So, Simone, I want to ask you, as a beautiful woman who interacts with so many people, what is the sassy thing that's going on right
The sassy that's going on right now. Well, thank you for that warm welcome. I think that it is a way to push back when either being confronted
now? Yes.
to shut it down immediately. Because whatever you're talking about up until that point, the second someone calls that man sassy, it's almost like a reset button. Because
Right.
now they're going to respond to that as opposed to where the conversation was leading to. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
a stop you in your tracks.
And see, I say all the time, I told my son growing up, I was like, men look stupid arguing with women because you can't win. If you do win verbally, you look like a bully. If you don't win, you look stupid. So it really doesn't make sense. But now, my friend comedian Coco Brown, she has a whole set in her stand up where she's talking about, men talking like this now. She was like, she's the woman. That's what it's supposed to be. It was like, she's like, when did men stop being men?
Mhm.
When did a man expressing his opinion stop him from being a man or
Good
standing up
question.
for himself?
So it's interesting because there is the term toxic masculinity,
Yes.
right? And that's what comes to mind when we're discussing this. But to answer your question, I don't know when being expressive turned into, oh, well, look how he's responding. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Some women don't like that. And I feel like it's rooted in that toxic masculinity. And that's not me saying it as like a catch term. I really,
Right.
I truly think that. And no one, those people who will retort with, oh, you're being real sassy right now. They, uh, I think, want to be distanced from anything that can be viewed from the exterior looking into that relationship or themselves within the relationship. They're not attracted to that, whatever that is.
Do you think that it's a racial thing, a cultural thing? Because I personally, let me say that, I personally have never seen a white woman say that. I've seen Black and Hispanic women say that.
I agree. I think it is a cultural because there's cultural implications to it. And I've also haven't seen a white person or a white woman say, you know, you're doing too much. You're being a little sassy.
Right,
Why you in women's business? Why you arguing with me?
right,
Look at him.
right, right.
But I don't know how many women I am around
Exactly.
on the daily, I should say,
Right,
that I would draw out or glean that information from anyway.
right,
But it's really interesting if you think about it, because the cultural implication to me sounds like strong Black man, leader. What they say. That's a good one. That's a good man, Savannah.
right,
You hear that term? Like that's
right,
a good man, Savannah. You hold on to him.
right,
And I think the imagery that is accompanied with that good man is not one who externally looks like they're going back and forth
right,
with a woman. Even the optics of it,
right.
they don't want that.
Right. Because, I had one of my guests, Anya Taylor, she wrote a book about Black men's mental health.
Mhm.
And it's a short book, it's like 65 pages, but she really hit on the topics. And I saw a lot of things that, just coming up with a single mother, everything is like you can't express emotions, you can't cry, you got to man up. It's like there was so many things that put on you as a child,
Mhm.
and so it's like you learn very young to control your emotions and control your responses. And especially, like I can say with me, growing up with a single mother, if I went to express myself, she'd be like, "Shut up talking to me." So,
Mhm.
that
Shut it down.
yeah. So it's automatic. And I think that now with all the conversations about Black men's mental health and Black men trying to speak out, now
Mhm.
it's being used as a weapon.
It can definitely be viewed that way, especially when it's used to cut you down, like you are expressing yourself
Yes.
and it's being used to stop that conversation right in its tracks,
Right.
right? But also, I feel like, do you think that your mom or other mothers who had similar viewpoints was raising you with that mindset as a form of protection for you?
Well, I think that one of the things is her being a single mother of a son. She didn't know how to raise a boy, so she did, and my mother had me at 16.
Mhm.
So I think that she went to it for what she was attracted to or what she thought that a man should be. Because I know my grandfather was, not affectionate. He wasn't loving. He was a
Mm,
hardworking man. When he was a cross country tractor trailer driver. So
okay.
he was gone. He was gone. So she didn't see affection from because he wasn't there. He was just a hardworking man, you know,
Right.
and times has changed so much. And I think now also, like I can say this is a personal thing. My grandmother was a business owner before she married him. He was her fourth or fifth husband, third, fourth,
Okay.
or fifth husband,
Mhm.
and when she married him, decided to have children, she stepped back to become a housewife and was dependent on his income.
Mm.
That's changed because women
Right.
are dependent on their husband's income or to get credit or anything. So women have their own power, so they have more strength, and they're not at the whim or the mercy of their
Right.
husband any longer. And I
Right.
think that's changed it. So a newer woman, she feels comfortable saying, "Wait a minute, you don't talk to me like that." Whereas a woman from past generations, she could not.
Right, because independence brings freedom.
Yes,
Freedom to speak up, freedom to hold, it takes guts to hold true, to establish and then hold true to your boundaries.
yes,
And it also gives you the freedom to do that because you're not shackled to somebody who's, responsible for the household, who's bringing
right.
in the money, who's keeping you under a roof. So
Who decides how
definitely.
much cash you have, who decides
Right,
when you can go, that you have to ask permission to do things.
right. And permission to me is the opposite of freedom.
Right.
Because who are we
Exactly.
asking? Right. That's
Exactly.
funny.
So also going on the emasculation conversation is, I was watching, Sherry Shepherd. This was years ago, but Sherry Shepherd, when she was on The View, she had
Mhm,
made a statement that, you know, she didn't want a man who got manicures and pedicures. And then
mhm.
a couple of years later, Dee Williams had made the same statement on her show. And I'm like, so what, you want us to walk around like 12 years a slave? Like that. And I thought it was funny because when I used to work in the music industry, the executives would have someone come to their office and give them manicures and pedicures.
Mhm.
And I'm like, when did maintenance become another weapon to use against men?
Well, funny you should ask. It's almost this is how I view it. I'm a pretty visual person. This is what I view. And it's just my personal opinion, right? But I think of hair salons like old school,
Right.
thinking like historical context. Hair salon and getting your nails done equate to pampering. And from the cultural and the historical context, it's fellowship, it's getting together, it's hearing, being pampered and taken care of within your community, and it's almost like a bubble that was created. And I wonder if some women feel like a man in that or a male in that space has permeated the bubble. Now you in our space. That's the imagery that came to mind.
I
And then
agree with
also, yeah, so then also I feel like the mani-pedi situation. Like I know someone, I watch my language, but I know someone who's very into self-care, a man, very much so into self-care, doesn't care who doesn't care for it, and will say, well, I'm into spas. No, no qualms about it. And I said, well, what's the problem with that? Well, I know people have their feelings about that, but it's not a woman's space. It's first of all, it's a business. So money
Right.
is green. They're going to take your money.
Right.
Okay. That's number one. Number two, it is like you said, it's maintenance. And so I think there is levels to this. So there's a manicure, no buffing,
Right.
manicure with buffing, manicure with clear polish. Then we got the manicure with um, a colored polish. There's levels to this. So I
Right.
feel like there is a hierarchy, if you will,
Right.
or levels to what some women may or may not be attracted to. And that's just one of those things. But it is maintenance at the end of the day.
Because I know when I lived in LA, there were a lot of guys, and I see it more and more with their girlfriends with painted nails.
Yeah,
Not even just black. Like before, black was like, oh, you're a rocker or you punk or something.
right.
But now, like blue and pink and gold, and I'm like, yo, that's kind of a lot. I don't
It's
want,
pushing whatever the envelope is, it's pushing.
yeah, and pushing the boundaries. And I think that, but I will say that, like, I'm not, I'm not a manicure pedicure guy,
Hmm.
but sometimes I can't fit my shoes anymore.
It's time.
Right. I'm 12 years a slave. I'm the 12 years a slave for it. But when you go to the manicures, pedicures, and especially if it's crowded and it's 99.9999% women,
Hmm.
the minute you walk in, everybody stops and looks at you like, what the hell are you doing here?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And you just feel the energy change.
Shift, because it is I guess a woman dominated industry in terms of consumer. But you said that you're not a mani petty guy. Why not?
I don't like to be touched. I don't like to be touched. And so I don't like all that time that touching me and then feeling, and it's like my skin crawls. I think I have one of the letters, but I'm too old for them to have been diagnosed.
It ain't too late. It is not too
Right. I
late.
got an A, a B, whatever the letters are. I think I got it. Every time I get it, and I always make them stop. Like when I get it, I'll be like, okay, that's enough. Stop touching.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm also stuck with never taking off my socks.
Do you do self-care?
No,
Or it's just like, no,
nope.
period.
I
Okay.
just wear socks.
Hello. Okay. So you're a socks guy. You're not a petty guy. You're a socks guy.
I'm a socks guy. And like
I think, mhm,
like saying with my hands, I'll clip my own nails and like do the emery board and like push my cuticles down. But like and that's only because like I'll look and be like, yo, your hands look bad. You look homeless.
not unhoused. Well, I think that whatever your thing is, I think we all have our thing and they change things that we're interested in, things that bring us joy, things
Right,
that we know don't. And if you know that you don't want to be touched, then why would you go
right,
and stuff it through
right.
a pedicure?
And that's what it feels like.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Like I don't like anybody touching my back. I
Okay.
have like a weird back. I'll get pain just by a little, like it's a problem. So I do not, when I go into the nail salon, I cannot have that massage chair on. And they automatically click it because it's part of
Right,
the experience. It's part of
right,
what you're paying for. Please don't put that thing on my back.
right,
Now I gotta sit here like leaning up because it's on. But that's not my thing. So I feel like when it really comes down to it, the foundation of who we are, we're all just, I view us as like a big old puzzle. We're trying to put our pieces together so that we can kind of see the vision of what this life is supposed to be. And if one minuscule piece represents self-care or mani pedis and that's not your thing, who cares?
So
Who cares?
what would what advice or what suggestion, because
Yes.
you can't tell black women what to do.
You better not.
What suggestion would you have for our sisters that are watching it in this sassy movement that is happening right now?
Well, I would encourage my good sis to just think about the weaponry behind the vocabulary. And sometimes that's the point. I am going to weaponize. I'm going to go and cut you down to, the lowest denominator because I know that that's going to get to you within our community, within our sub communities. We know that across the board, for the most part, if you are not with certain things, you don't want to be called another certain thing, whatever
Right.
that is.
Right.
And
Right.
so I would just really encourage to say, okay, really, what am I trying to say? And if I needed to remove sassy from my vocabulary, I don't know, what is the synonym? Or will we go to, you just in women's business? And
Right.
I just, there is a greater harm to pigeonholing. That's what it's doing. It's pigeonholing strong Black men
Yes.
who really don't deserve that moniker. And there's another flip side to that. Like, there are things that men say that women do not deserve that moniker. But for right now, we're on this one. And
Right.
I just think that, to really think about the power behind their words, because men lead, women lead. When it comes down to it, we're all human, and we deserve that respect to the extent that we have earned it as well. So I'm gonna throw that out there. But those are my thoughts.
Because, I was saying, like, a lot of times we, as Black men, we feel that we're battling everybody.
Yeah.
And like at the job, for respect and the street, especially now with the administration that we have, you
Right.
see a lot of white people, they're coming out their face, forgetting that we're face to face now.
Getting a little bold with it, ain't it?
Right. And then get knocked out. I watch that every day. It's like porn to me. Uh, I do. I get so excited. But it's horrible to deal with that. And then when you're coming home, that's supposed to be your safe space. And then the minute, like, if you feel attacked and you stand up for yourself or you respond, you're being attacked at home.
Right.
So
And home is solace, right? Home
right.
is
You come
your
home to be alleviated of all of that.
all of it. I think I view home as like the physical embodiment, the structured embodiment of an exhale, right? When you out in that world and you come home, you need to be able to be your truest self,
Yeah.
stripped down, literally and figuratively, like you're able to just be yourself. So no one should really have the boogeyman that's living in the house.
Right. Right.
And I watched, you know what? I wish I could remember her name. I watched a TED Talk yesterday, and the person was basically saying that they were making a connection between childhood traumas and ailments that we develop over time, and the very strong connection between the two. And it was interesting because she was mentioning how, we leave the big bad wolf outside, but what happens when the big bad wolf lives indoors with you? And she was saying that in terms of, a perpetrator of whatever childhood
Right.
traumas being within the home.
Right.
But I think that to a degree, if you're coming home and you want to be able to exhale and strip yourself down, if the big bad wolf is still in the house calling you sassy, and you can't even
Right.
take your shoes off. You can't twinkle your toes because you've been in shoes all day without being called sassy, then we got some work to do.
Yes, I agree. And so, what advice would you give to the men watching about how to deal with this new wave?
I'd also encourage the men to think about what that word, I guess, means to them and how they interpret it. And also I would think, my mother used to say, like, consider the source. I used to get all hyped up
Right.
because somebody said something or whatever, did something when I was younger. She would say, well, consider the source. The person who's really trying to shut you down or I don't want to say take you down. That's very dramatic. I don't even know why. I watch too much Housewives. They say, you trying to take me down. The person who is trying to really belittle you, that's the intent, seemingly the intent. Is that the type of person that you want their
Right.
positive feedback? Like, the person who I don't like, you not liking me is the best. That's letting me know that I'm making wise decisions. So if somebody who is trying to belittle you, really think about why you're allowing it, why you are receiving that, how you receive that. And I would also say, just to round that out, both parties need to have a little grace for the other. And that's hard when somebody's coming at your neck. But similarly, where's that coming from? What is the context? That's a larger conversation for the relationship, whatever that relationship may be. Because why are you trying to belittle me? That's what I would get down. So it's not so much the sassy as it is, why do you think that I'm about to sit here and let you belittle me? Where'd you get? I want to know where that confusion came from
Right.
because it's not going down.
How can our viewers follow you and find you and hire you to get their minds right?
Well, I am based in New Jersey. You can find me through Epic Therapy. It's epictcounseling.com. And on the socials, I am Mona Simone, MonaSimone. No dots, no dashes, no underscores, just Mona Simone.
Do you do online therapy as well?
Yes, I do. I am
Okay.
currently in the process of being licensed in additional states. So if you would like to reach out to me, please do so and let me know what state I should be covering as well.
And if she's not licensed there, you can always move to Jersey.
Hello, come on. Well,
Thank you.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And I just want to tell everybody that, Simone will be back. She will
Yes.
definitely be back. Thank you.
Can't wait.